I'm ready to have some fun. First, City Biz World audience, we love you. Thank you for allowing us to play on the platform. We're going to have a good time today. By the way, I'm RUKE. I help entrepreneurs win every day. I have a full service marketing advertising firm, and we do some crazy cool stuff. I've been doing it for a couple of decades. I still say I'm 14 years old in 5 quarters. But here's why I'm so excited today, because I get to hang out with one of my good friends who I actually met back then, Cole Peacock. So it's not about me, it's about him. All right, so this is well, first of all, I call him the mayor of Fort Myers, one of the most connected people, one of the most respected people out there. He is literally, he was one of those guys, young, focused, and did the right stuff. I say this, but he's going to correct me. He basically took Chico's Women's Clothing public for about 10 years. That's true. That's true. Well, hold on. And we connected as he was running a mayoral campaign. So he oversaw governmental affairs. The hats that he's worn has been the marketing, the branding, production, just like so many things, because he was given so much things because of his talent with a company that was growing so large. And with that, the governmental affairs stuff, connections, he is so respected in the political world. It's ridiculous. And he kind of came to me and said, hey, we're doing this thing, and I kind of want to, and that's the caveat. I'm going to pause for a second, and I want to tell you about that, because what he's doing is absolutely groundbreaking. All right, correct my story with you on Chico's, because I'm not going to change my story, but you may correct it.
Yeah, so I was at Chico's, and it was a phenomenal run, and had a ton of experiences. But I don't want to take credit away from anybody. The Grondics who founded it and the executive team was there, did amazing things. I came in, in some of the early stages, but and was very, was very much part of the team. But that was a universe that was chugging along before I got there, and I just did my part to try to enhance it.
I appreciate that. But you were there, how many, about like 10 years? That's unheard of, though. It is. Well, to be with in like that type of business for that long, there's not many people that have that experience.
And I was blessed. I was there when I was very young. I mean, I walked in the door, in my mid to mid 20s, and rapidly grew in the business. So yeah, young age, saw a lot. The company had massive growth. During the time period I was there, it quadrupled in size, and we expanded pretty rapidly and had three brands. And so yeah, I learned a lot. It was a phenomenal experience, and you got to learn investor relations and marketing and governmental affairs and international business and design work. So yeah, fun time.
And how many stores when you exited? How many stores were there?
There was around 1,300 between the 3 brands.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's a lot of stores. All right, so just a little bit of an experience. I love that. All right, all right. So, here's why we're here today, because I want to talk to you about this, because what that has led you to, and well, also you've also sat on a lot of boards, Florida Retail Federation. Coming into what we're talking about, your position on the cannabis committee.
Yeah, so the state of Florida during the time when the hemp and the medical marijuana industry was coming together, created through the Department of Ag, created advisory councils for the cannabis industry as a whole. I was privileged and lucky enough to be the co-chair, vice chair of that committee, appointed by the Department of Ag, Commissioner Nikki Freed, and then also the governor's office. So that committee kind of oversaw regulatory issues in the cannabis industry, and again, was a phenomenal experience, and got to make sure that we had influence on the state level.
Yeah, and it's amazing, because I'm going to guess. I think the conversations between you and I about the industry and where it's going and what can happen and all that good stuff, I'm going to say about 7-9 years ago. Very, very early stage, even before it became that mature.
Yeah, my first entry into the industry was when the state of Florida tried to pass the first medical marijuana amendment, which would go back to 2014 through 16. So yeah, it's been a while.
Okay. So that's why what's so exciting, because these are a lot of the hallways you walk down for the initiative for the cannabis, for the cannabis movement. You've walked down that before, and you've leveraged relationships that are well trusted, which has led you to a pioneer in the industry. Well, I'm going to say, across the United States, Absolutely, because you're first in a lot of areas and and absolutely the top of in Florida.
Yeah, I mean we've been lucky. My partners and I, and the entire team here at C3, we've been lucky to do this.
So this kind of leads up to opening up Florida's first cannabis cafe called City Bean, and I think number two or three in the U.S.
So we're the first to do it, and since then there has been a company in Nashville, one in California, one in Colorado, and a second company in the state of Florida.
And what's so amazing about it, not only are you pioneering in it, and you were, I would argue to say that you were before anybody in the industry.
We were.
You,
There's no question about
yeah,
that. I mean,
yeah.
we were the first to go through it, and uh, had to spend time with the state legislature to get it approved. Had to spend time with Florida Business Professional Reg to get approved. The state attorney's office, the attorney general's office, the sheriff's office, the city council, the mayor, the county commissions, and luckily we have the support here in Lee County to kick it off first. And um, what I think is an amazing thing the city of Fort Myers did is they took this initiative and really ran with it, and have been proud to say that this is the first one in the state, and it's in downtown Fort Myers. And then since then, we've expanded to Venice, and we have one going in Cape Coral.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing. What's amazing, and again, it's Seed and Bean Market, Seed and Bean Market, awesome name. Um, you pioneered it. You also pioneered a lot of this industry. Before that, this was not an idea of an opportunity like let's grab it, because there has been in even in some of our other initiatives that I've seen and that we're doing, that we have set a lot of high standards. We have been the first to go and especially go through the proper channels. And so that's a level of commitment. And that's what I really, really love is the caliber of a company that you've built, the caliber of how we're rolling it out, the caliber of the conversations with the community tied into, with the legislation tied in. It really is a movement that Seed being in C3 as a company is absolutely ushering in for the cannabis world.
Yeah, so I mean, this opportunity was spun off because of what was going on in the state of Florida on the medical marijuana side, and that's what originally got me into the industry, and some of the other partners that are with us on this venture. Um, and then there was a pivot. We saw an opening, and in business, if you can't pivot, you're going to die most times. And there was an opening, nobody was doing this. Um, we were we knew there was certain legislation coming down with the Farm Bill, that allowed for hemp and CBD to be federally legal. So we jumped very quickly. We were on the forefront of that, whether that was pushing legislation, whether that was helping craft the regulatory issues in the state. So we got heavily involved, and no one was doing this concept. No one was blending a wellness component into food, and into a marketplace. So we said, "What the hell? Let's give it a try," and it worked out. And here we are.
What's beautiful about that is the experience that you brought to it, the way that you rolled it out, the respect that you got creates a just a reputation like none other of trust, quality, nothing as a flippid going down a pattern of a trend while we're creating our own. That is huge. Now, here's one thing I know that when this was opened, we're kind of holding our breath of who's going to show up. One thing that Cedar Bean did, which is amazing, is it became average people. It wasn't just a CBD enthusiast, hemp and marijuana enthusiast. It wasn't that. It was the average people going, yeah, talk about that. That's incredible. Right out of the gate.
Yeah. So I think what really led to the comfort level of what you're talking about, Rook, is before I was even comfortable moving forward and having the partners kind of jump in and do this concept. I literally brought the sheriff's office, the city council, the county commission, the state delegation members. I mentioned the local state attorney, and put them all in a room and said, "Are we okay to do this? Because if we open up and you come shut us down, it does us no good. If you arrest people because they have hemp and products walking out, it does us no good. It's low grade THC, like it's allowed in this. So the level that we went to get support and justification of doing it really added a level of trust. Um, and then to your point, I mean, relationships matter. Um, I've been lucky enough, along with my partners, not to have a bad reputation, and most people like us, so they wanted to come see us.
That's awesome. One side note, there was a time where the state used Seed and Being and the work they did as a model for the state of Florida, other people rolling things out.
They did. We're one of the only, if not the only, one of the only handful that are approved by the Department of Ag and Fresh from Florida, which means is the highest level of approval you can get from the Department of Ag. When COVID came through, we adapted and became a marketplace that really helped all of the residents get toilet papers and paper towels and fresh foods because we could sell it in a bulk market style. The state gave us the ability to do that, and to your point, really modeled our business platform of what to do and not to do in the state with the right products. One of the things we did is we added a cannabis and CBD educator, so that when customers come in, they know what they're doing. So yeah, the state has used us as a model of excellence and business practices, and we're proud of that. And we've kind of gotten recognized and won accolades for that as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you didn't just stop at with the marketplace for Seed and Being. You also have Pure Native, which, okay, like I live by. I live by. I got my little tray here.
I'm drinking my green tea out of the Pure Native mug right now.
So to tell us the expansion from obviously having a marketplace to now creating your own products, and obviously I have very very proud to see that you have stepped in not just as delivering to the people, but also creating products that of a trusted level, a ridiculously high trusted brand quality level. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so again, being first in the marketplace, knowing that the federal farm bill was going to allow certain products to come into play, we had an opportunity to sell it at our own stores. So Pure Native, which goes back to the native, scenes here in the state of Florida. We developed product lines that range from seltzers to gummies to pre-rolls to lotions. And we were one of the first ones in the state to come out and do that. Now, I think what separated us from the beginning, and again, we got recognition by the state and accolades for this, is not only do we follow the traditional testing requirements that are required on the federal level, we went a step above that and did our own testing. So the products are triple tested. So when you get it, you know for sure that it's a pure product. The QR codes are on the product. You can look at the test results and see right there. So when we rolled those out, to your point, Rook, we were one of the first ones in the state to do it. And with retail background and some finance background with the partners, we kind of knew how to position it the right way. And then we evolved that line into Florida's first CBD seltzers that went into production. And they've been good. They've been successful. And, it's one of those things where it was a high risk, and we've got a high reward from it. But when you're the first, you get to take all the bumps and bruises, and hopefully nobody knocks you off.
Well, one of the things that I saw, because people can claim first, not only have you pioneered things being the first to market with
they
products.
can they can claim first, and they have the best cup of coffee, no matter what they want to do. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. But what C3 as a company has also gone to, yes, we're going to launch this, but we're also going to be the first to be approved on several different levels to really usher in a whole nother breed of quality products that no one even can, has the wherewithal to try to pull off.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean that goes back to your earlier point of having relationships and being respected. So a lot of these things, were based on relationships that we had at the state level, and could have very honest conversations and talk to the right people, and make sure what we were doing, A, was within the guidelines, B, legal, and C, that they would get approved. And I think what the best thing that has come out of all of that is working hand in hand with the state, because they were new at this and we were new at it, and we went together as a team. And on any given day, we can call the right people and have the conversations. And there's times where they call us and say, "Hey, by the way, would you mind talking to this group and giving them some advice?"
Yeah. And that, by the way, that is the definition of a true leader of a market, period, in person there. What's ridiculously great about that is not many companies have the wherewithal to even try to go to that kind of scrutiny. So it's not the effort, it's the boldness to go, hey, we want to be federally approved. We want to be Florida approved. We want to make sure we go through this so that we can say, hey, we're there.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of that
That's a
comes
longevity play.
It is.
Yeah.
For sure. It's a trust play. It's a longevity play. But a lot of that comes from, when you spend enough time in a corporation, the regulatory issues, the legalities, the liabilities. So the last thing we wanted to do was put liability on us, but also on the consumer. We wanted to make sure if we were going to do this, that we educated the consumer the right way. They knew exactly what they were putting into their bodies, and they could trust us, and we could move forward together.
So that brings me to this, Amendment 3. Let's talk about Amendment 3 and what the future looks like with the state of Florida.
Yeah. So for those who don't know,
what you can say publicly.
Yeah. Well, I can say anything.
All right.
Whether or not I get in trouble is a different conversation. Amendment 3 was the latest attempt in the state of Florida to have recreational marijuana. So for historical facts, for those who don't know, Florida tried to pass medical marijuana on an amendment. It failed. They came back a second time. It passed. RUKE mentioned our involvement with that. We were heavily involved in Amendment 3. That did not pass. One of the things the state of Florida has done that other states don't is they require a 60% approval rating for a constitutional amendment. While I agree with that, because you don't want to always change your constitution, it makes it incredibly difficult to get that number of support. Most of your politicians who get elected don't get that support. So Amendment 3 failed, but that has not changed the dynamics of the industry. The state of Florida has a strong medical marijuana industry, and they have a strong hemp and cannabis industry.
Yeah, that's awesome, and still leading the way.
And I will say, if you watch anything, or if you haven't, go look at the political campaigns for Amendment 3. They're pretty funny, and they're not always factual. But we live in a world now where politics, for whatever reason, doesn't have to be factual. But at any rate, there was hundreds of millions of dollars spent on both sides, for and against, and I have no doubt it'll come back again.
Yeah, it's amazing. So being the trailblazer you are, what can you tell us is on next for C3?
Yeah, one of the things I think C3 is excited about is a hemp beer line that we are. Yeah, so RUKE, if you could hold that up a second there. Yeah.
This is I know the guy that designed this.
For those who don't know, RUKE is our marketing guru who does all the design work. So Calusa Kush you're looking at is the first federally approved hemp beer in the nation. We worked with the federal government and the state government, and had to submit recipes, had to submit testing results, had to submit all the proper products that we would have to do. There is no CBD and there's no THC. It is strictly made with hemp product and oats and barleys and wheats and your typical beers. But the difference in what it is a hemp beer. So it is made with hemp seeds and the components of that. So, yeah, it's exciting. And to get that federally approved, and no one else has done that, again, kind of trailblazer, the first ones to do it. It's something we're very proud of. That would not have happened without to your point, the relationships and the trust that we had already established with governmental agencies and working with them hand in hand. So now we have 3 other SKUs that will go along with that. So we'll have Calusa Kush, Hialeah Heaven, Gainesville Green, and Mayaka Gold, which are all strains that are grown and somewhat famous in the state of Florida.
So I love it because the roots do run deep, and it's super conscious of where it comes from, of the industry. That is amazing. So, anything else you want to add?
Well, I think something you mentioned to your roots and the way the beers are. Each one of those beers come from a waterway in the state of Florida, and those waterways allowed for growers in the 70s and 60s who had developed these strains to really have the ability to grow their products. It's interesting stories. They're really cool. But it goes back to the roots of agriculture in the state of Florida, and kind of ironically, my family roots, which we're generational family here in Florida as peanut farmers, on the Peacock side. So there's a long history there of having agriculture around what we do.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
The other thing too is, as we sit here and go through this, Rook, and you work with us quite a bit, businesses aren't successful unless you have the right people in place and you have the right partners and you go down the path and they all trust each other to do whatever their skill sets are. And we've been unique in a sense that we have put together the right partners to put this thing forward. And we are continuously hiring the right talent to move the business forward. But I would tell anybody who's looking at this industry or anything like this, you've got to have a passion for it. You got to enjoy it because it's not easy. And you're going to have, roadblocks along the way. And especially in the world of cannabis, you will have people who still believe that there's a drug on, the war on drugs, and the drugs are bad for you. Certain ones are, and I'm not here to say they're not. But this is not one of them. This is one that if you use the right way as a wellness product, and it can help you in many different aspects of your life.
So obviously, incredible honor to play next to you day by day. I will say this: I think it's been about 20 years, through a long history of a lot of different companies that we've been successful with, which is amazing.
It has been. It's been a very long time.
That out there often. But what's cool is, ladies and gentlemen, again, CityBiz, thank you so much for allowing us to play on your platform. C3, incredible company. You got to watch what's being produced there. It is the first of many things. It is the one that's innovatively inspired so much out there, but you see the quality there. You got Pure Native, you got Seed and Being, and there's more to come under that. And I just want to say thank you all so much for paying attention to some good friends here to hang out. Go ahead, Cole.
Yeah, I would say for anyone who wants to go check us out more, go to the websites. There's Seed and Bean. You can check it out on the website there. Pure Native, you put Pure Native Lifestyle in, it goes there. We have the Caloosahatchee Cannabis Company as well as the beverage company, the Caloosahatchee Beverage Company. So check out all the sites. There's more information on there. It kind of gives you, what we do in the community. Because what I think is the most important thing for any business is to be socially conscious, but also to give back to the people that have given to you. And we live every day with that motto, and it's been good to us so far. We're never going to change.